So I'll give you a quick brief about my journey. I come from a logistics background. I started in 2001, right after graduation. I joined the corporate world. I worked with different multinationals in the logistics industry. I was able to climb the corporate ladder through a lot of effort. Being in the corporate world for around 22 years taught me the basics of how to build a business, how to run a business, how to scale a business, how to deal with crisis, and so on. So I always tell people, super good for founders to first strengthen their bonds by working in a corporate environment, learning all the basics, learning how to lead a company, build a company, scale a company, and then to go into a startup mode of setting their own. Well, I think most of the founders in our club are doing that. So logistics is a very broad topic. It's a very complicated industry. It has different verticals. So I'll take you through quickly. I need you to understand the industry itself and all the services and verticals that happen there, so that whenever you have any requirement in the future, you want to really depend on logistics to grow your business, partner with logistics partners, so that these tips will really help you in benefiting from that. Number one, the most important part of the logistics usually is the last mile. The last mile delivery is where the lead experience happens. So in logistics, you have different services, different verticals. You have the first mile, the middle mile, and the last mile. The first mile usually, if it is an international business, it depends on a service called freight forward. Freight forwarding means cargo. Cargo means you ship bulky orders, you ship, it can be by sea, by containers, by air freight, by land freight as well, which is more of getting all your merchandise, all your raw material, all your products as a bulk shipment, 6, 7, 10 tons, bring it, or the first mile is the pickup. So you have a partner who will pick it up from origin. The middle mile is the carrier who carries those shipments from origin to a destination. And most importantly, you have the clearance and delivery, which includes the last mile and destination. So the shipping here can be split into two parts. It starts with cargo or with freight forwarding, and then it goes into a last mile fragmented individual deliveries at that stage. So I learned all these. I worked in many companies, and I had the experience in each and every part of this, or each and every leg of this. You have also the fulfillment part. So when a shipment comes, let's say as 7 tons to Dubai or to Saudi, you custom clear it, you take it to the warehouse, and in the warehouse, the real magic starts. You go into sorting those shipments, storing them, fulfillment, repackaging them for individual orders, and then you have to look for a last mile delivery partner. The last mile delivery partner sometimes can be independent from the freight forwarding partner. It depends who are you working with. Sometimes you can use different partners who for you different legs of the service, and sometimes you can use a multinational who offers everything, who offers you import, clearance, fulfillment, warehousing, tagging, bundling, everything, and then they can do for you the last mile delivery. And there is a very important part in our industry which is called the reverse logistics, or the returns. And the returns are super important because I'll give you some statistics here. Usually there's something called cash on delivery. Cash on delivery is when you deliver an e-commerce parcel and you collect the cost of goods from the client or the consignee upon delivery. And this type of delivery usually is a bit challenging because you have hundreds of clients who order, let's say, shipments from Europe, from China, or from Dubai here if you have your sorting center here and distribution hub. And then when the shipment arrives to them, they change their mind. They say, I don't want it. So since they did not really pay the cost of goods online, they have the chance to cancel at any point of time, which means this is a big loss for the e-commerce players. So their only way is to try to resell it locally, bring in all these returns maybe to a central hub and try to resell them in the country again at a discounted price. This is a very, very challenging thing for many e-commerce players. So if you have any e-commerce players or startups here, you need to take good care of this. The average ratio or the average of returns is usually 20% out of the total orders, which can be a bit costly for many small companies. So when you talk about the future of logistics today, I can see a lot of changes, innovation, technology advance in the last mile part. Unfortunately, the freight forwarding is still behind. It's a very traditional service, which depends on just putting a pallet on an aircraft or putting a few pallets on a container and putting them in a ship or an airplane or a truck. The technology here is not very advanced today. If you see a lot of tech today is going around warehousing, robotics, and we're talking a lot about drones today as well. Last mile delivery drones, last mile technologies that optimize the scheduling part of arranging a delivery for perfecting a delivery performance of every company. Some people are talking about delivery robots and bots and everything, which I believe will take time. Drone deliveries through taxi deliveries or maybe dedicated delivery drones is still an immature product, but it will come. And this will really disrupt the last mile delivery process, not in masses. Since I need to clarify something, you will not see hundreds of drones flying at the same time to deliver 100 packages. It will always be, at least for the first 5 or 10 years of launching, as a niche product. And this happens mostly in remote areas. So I just wanted to take you through a journey of how the delivery industry started. I told you about what's next. Let me tell you about how it started. 20 years back, when I started, delivering a parcel was not as seamless as today. Delivering a parcel was a very hectic process. There was no technology. It was all manual. Everything we used to be on paper. Even there was no email. When we started, there was the telex, the fax. If any of you have heard about this, these were the communications tools for us at that time. There was no proper follow-up on the status of a delivery. You couldn't get a proof of delivery like today in one click, which gets uploaded immediately, and you can see live tracking of your parcel. It used to be through telex. You send a telex or a fax, wait for the reply to give you an update about the shipment. So we've witnessed a lot of transformation in this industry, a lot of optimization in the way we operate, and technology was the key. Technology is really the key here that differentiates the old era of logistics and the new. When I say that the freight forwarding or the cargo business is still a bit outdated because innovation in this part of the industry has been a bit slow. I mean, the maximum you can do today is to give digital channels for clients to book for their cargo, to track and trace their cargo. And of course, the other part, which is the supply chain and warehousing automation, which happens in the warehouse when it comes to storage of those products, having immediate access and accessibility to your inventory and so on. But still, there can be a lot here to be done. I personally believe that creating technologies that can really integrate between all the legs of logistics, between importing, exporting, storage, last mile, between cargo and courier, is the real key. The client, in the end, be it a B2B or B2C, they want a seamless experience. They don't care about what happens in the middle or in the first mile. They really care about the last mile experience. And this is where the opportunity is available for many people to innovate with modern technologies that really can make a seamless experience for any freight shipment or any last mile shipment by integrating freight with courier so that clients will have, in the end, a super seamless and efficient process. And many people ask me about really technology, robotics, AI, take over jobs in our industry. My answer is a bit neutral. I can say somehow yes, when it comes to the basic things that AI can do, which is prediction, analysis, data analysis, prediction of delivery, disasters that can happen based on weather conditions at countries, based on peak seasons. But I don't see properly technology taking over jobs a lot in this, because this industry is very much dependent on the human factor of delivering a parcel, the human factor of delivering a shipment. And by having an automation in this part of it, I think we're a bit very far from having this happen. Today, there are a lot of areas where you can optimize your last mile delivery and e-commerce business by providing clients with different options. And we call this more of the omni-channel experience. Omni-channel is basically giving your client the option of collecting a parcel from a store, pick up from a store, which is close to their home, or you have the option of giving them a delivery to their location, which usually is sometimes a hectic one because you have to collect the address, schedule the delivery, ensure that the client is at home to deliver at the right time, and so on. But omnichannel is very good today because it's really improving the efficiency of delivery performance and operations of companies and giving a great customer experience. I don't want you to chase me for a delivery schedule. Just drop it in a shop or a store which you have an ally with, and just save me all the follow-up of calling me and asking me to send you the location on WhatsApp and so on. The industry itself today is booming, especially in the UAE and Saudi Arabia. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of parcels being delivered every day. The real differentiator today, the real future, is e-commerce. When we say e-commerce, it means B2C, business to consumer, which is the online orders that you receive every day. And this is really booming. The statistics show that this region is really going up in this, and I can see this going up more, and especially after COVID. We have a very big spike. We're talking about growth of 200-300%, more than expected, because people were stuck at home and they got used to parcels coming to their homes. And they found that, you know what, this is a very convenient way of buying and purchasing rather than us going into malls and looking for products. Although it has been there since a long time, but people were not used to it. After COVID, this business started to really. I'll tell you a bit about competition in this industry. Competition is super high, extremely high. There are a lot of players fighting on every single parcel available. It's a price war, which is very much known. It's nothing confidential. I think the secret here is not in the prices. The secret is in the service. We really need to focus on improving the service levels to have delivering a parcel or a package, e-commerce package, in the same way a food delivery today or a grocery delivery is being done. I'm not talking about a 15 minutes delivery or 20 minutes delivery, because for packages, it's not needed. And since we entered this topic, many people ask me about Q-commerce. And they're saying, why don't we have an iPhone or a laptop delivered to our doorstep within 20 minutes of order? It is available today with a couple of players, very niche, very limited products, but it's not really that much popular because it's not required. A meal should come to you in 15 minutes because it has to be fresh, it has to be hot. A grocery is required because it is an urgent requirement. You're out of groceries, you're cooking, but you can wait for an iPhone or for a laptop for the next day. And that's why we don't see a lot of focus on the Q-commerce, which is we call it quick commerce for normal e-commerce shipments. We call the general items like electronics, accessories, and fashion items as well. So is there an opportunity to have these riding on the infrastructure of the 15-20 minutes delivery? Yes, but it's not really a big deal. So many companies would rather keep the same day delivery or next day delivery because the demand is not very high, and it's not worth really to invest a lot in a 20 or 30 minutes delivery for everything you buy online, because the cost of operations. So this is basically maybe a quick overview about the industry. The buying power plays a big role here in the e-commerce volumes in the region. Saudi Arabia has a very big buying power. Kuwait has a very big buying power. The UAE relatively also has been always, the boom of the e-commerce started in the UAE and in Saudi Arabia as two major countries. And I believe that these two countries will keep leading because of the size of the country and because of the strong purchasing power in those two countries. What do we need in terms of innovation in this industry? I personally believe we need to implement more technologies today, and we need to implement technologies for two reasons: for better optimization of our operations and for improving the customer experience. When we talk about customer experience, we talk about different channels. It can be receiving a parcel, it can be connecting with the call center, requesting help from the customer service, inquiring for a price, and so on. Today, we don't see a proper seamless experience with most of the players, maybe because they are transforming, and I'm sure that we will reach the stage soon, whereby we can create what I call personally the partners of choice. Partners of choice means one delivery player or one logistics player whom you can come to as a client and take all types of services while having the same customer experience for any type of service. If it was freight forwarding, ocean freight, trucking, courier, last mile, international express, domestic express, and so on, you should have the same experience in a fully digitized manner. When I say fully digitized manner, it means it shouldn't take you more than 1 or 2 clicks to book. shipping a parcel. It shouldn't take you any phone call to call and inquire about the status of the shipment, and it shouldn't take you a very hectic process of returning a parcel which came to you and it was wrongly delivered, or maybe the item is. So I think this is where the competition should on an end-to-end customer experience rather than going on a price war by just trying to really undercut prices. That's maybe a very quick thing, but for you, maybe as business owners, I want to give you some tips about if you want to work with delivery partners, if you want to partner with delivery partners. Let me tell you what is the challenge for you today as startups, which I'm personally, as part of the ecosystem of entrepreneurs and coming from the logistics industry, I'm trying to really find a middle point here. You as a small business may struggle when you want to deal with logistics partners. For one reason, they see you maybe small, your volume of business is small, so you will struggle from high pricing because you are a small client and the cost of maintenance for such a client or serving a client is considered relatively high. So when you go to a shipping company, they will give you a price which is different than they give for a big retailer who have maybe 1,000 parcels of delivery. This is a challenge which many of you as founders are facing, and the only solution for this is to really go and partner with players who believe in you as SMEs and small startups who are there to scale. And your logistics partner is a key partner in your growth if you are into e-commerce, if you are into B2C business. And the smart players will see you as a small player and they will treat you as a big player from day one because they know that every big player today in the e-commerce industry was small. And my experience in the industry, I don't want to mention names here because Rory will charge me for advertising, but I have started my career in multinational courier companies, and I have incubated and hugged many players who started very small, like two-man or two-person show, man and a woman, and today they are multi-million and multi-million dollars. They started from scratch. We incubated them from day one. We believed in what they did. And we charged them very good rates to help them to scale and grow because the shipping price usually is super important when it comes to their cost of operations. So when we really believed in them and supported them, believe me, those companies started with 1 and 2 parcels a week to maybe 10,000 parcels a day. And they kept working with us because we gave them all the support. And this is what I tell today all the logistics and delivery companies. Don't really push back on small startups who are starting in e-commerce, even if they have small volumes, because they will grow with you. You will be part of the story. And once they grow, they will stay with you forever. They will not really go and hunt for prices. They will build a proper relationship with you and you will grow with them. And that's a great experience I had with very big names today that are there in the market. And everybody is fighting to go and get their business, but they are sticking to their loyal delivery partners who started with them. They won, helped them to scale globally and regionally, and that's how it works. Always choose a partner which allows you to have accessibility maybe to the management team. It's good to work with partners where you have access to the management team because when things go wrong, you will get the right support. Work with partners who understand your strategy of operating and they want to scale and grow with you, not only to as a hit and run. Work with partners who have good international reach and scalability to help you in really scaling into different markets when you want to. So maybe these are the tips that I wanted to tell you. I would rather now maybe take questions because this industry is full of questions. So I'm very much open to your questions.
Hussein, thank you so much for such an insightful talk. I wish you mentioned the brand so I can send you a bill for advertisement. But nevertheless, thank you so much. We do have actually a couple of questions. I have one of my own too. Let's start first with the questions in the chat. So Wael is basically asking, looking ahead, what trends do you foresee shaping the future of delivery? Because you mentioned about drones. Do you see this coming soon? If not, what are your expectations?
Drones, again, if you see industries, they started to pilot this. Again, as I mentioned, drones from an operational perspective, if you think of it, drones will never replace cars and vans. It's impossible to have this concept at least being thought of on the short term because of safety in the sky, and it will always be more of a niche product. I can see more innovation and evolution on the ground. Autonomous vehicles maybe delivering parcels. Why not? It can happen. The moment you have autonomous vehicles doing a taxi job, I think these cars can also do deliveries. I can see more innovation and automation, robotics and facilities and warehouses that will improve the fulfillment process, which we have already a couple of good players today who are setting the stage. And I see also drones, when they start operating, they will start operating, full-fledged in remote areas at least, to serve maybe specific industries in remote areas, whereby instead of sending a car to drive 2 hours, you can send a drone which can arrive a few minutes to deliver a very critical item, a very critical spare part for the oil and gas, maybe a medical product, and so on. But still, the innovation will happen in the tools that we use today in our current delivery process, which is used to improve the efficiency and the operational performance and the customer experience. So that's how I see it personally. Again, drones will come. They started to be tested, but it's not going to be in mass unless we reach 2062 when everything is flying. Then I can tell you it's a full-fledged.
Yeah, it does sound a lot more safer, definitely. Now, speaking about the autonomous vehicles, in your own experience, when do you think, the industry will start seeing a shift of this change? Is there, some kind of expectations on that front? Are we going to start feeling such a change anytime soon?
Yeah, the change is, if you see, it started with commercial vehicles today, but the problem is regulations and safety. Regulations and safety is a critical aspect of it today. It all depends. The cars are ready to drive on their own. If you see, the success rate is very high. But still, I think the technology needs a bit of more development. But the challenge is in the regulations, the safety regulations. You cannot still depend on a car because we've seen a couple of accidents happening. So the technology is in its last phases of cooking. But I think we need around maybe more 2 years to have this being tested in a fully fledged environment.
Got it. Jumping to the next question by Hassan. What should we consider when selecting a logistics partner or service provider for an e-commerce startup, other than speed and pricing? Anything else that they should consider?
Yeah, you need to choose a partner who sees you as a partner and not really as a client whom they're going to make money from. As I said in the beginning, many of them, they refuse to work with you because you don't have a lot of revenues to give them. So you need to choose this. It's okay to choose small players, by the way. I'm not saying that the big players are not good, but if big players play the ego game on you, you can go to small players. Small players are more focused on serving you. You will grow together. They will depend on you and you will depend on them. But again, you have to have access to the founders of the company, if it's a small one, build a good relation with the management team, and make sure they understand your strategy of operating and growing. Because the moment they understand your strategy and they know your plan and scalability, they will be able to accommodate for your requirements. They are humble. There's a lot of startup delivery companies today who are super good. They came from multinationals, they opened their own business, and they are the ones to serve you if you fail to work with big players. So look for a proper relationship today. You don't want anybody to treat you as just anyone they don't care about. Because your e-commerce business depends on customer experience. If your delivery partner fails you, you will lose your revenue.
True. Speaking about strategies, you've mentioned strategies. I have my own question, and in your experience, what are the most common challenges e-commerce startups face in the delivery process, and what are the things that they need to do in order to overcome it? Is there like something that is common between
the e-commerce merchants, right?
Yep.
I see a lot of one of the things I see is, and I always advise e-commerce companies, the biggest part of their success is the delivery. Let's be realistic. Okay, the client will really judge them based on the delivery experience. I always see that maybe e-commerce companies need to hire more delivery people to come and lead their logistics department. I say it today because when you hire a delivery person who has the background, he or she will know how to negotiate with delivery companies and set the SOPs and the KPIs of it. Sometimes you have people who are in charge of the logistics departments. They don't know the industry very well, and they fall in the trap of being oversold by delivery companies, and then they get stuck when the problems start to happen. This is one of the things I always advise e-commerce companies: hire a delivery expert to run your logistics. Number two, they run a lot for price wars. And many of them are causing very price wars by working with players who are charging super low prices. And this is really messing in the market, because today a good player is not able to compete with a bad player. And some e-commerce companies don't care about the service, they just care about the cost. Right? So they compromise on the service levels, which is very risky as well. Sorry, 1 second. So that's my advice to them. Don't run after price wars. pay a bit more. It's okay. You're investing and building a great customer experience. It's okay to cut from your marketing budget and inject it into your logistics budget and pay more. Logistics is never a budget which you have to cut or compromise on when it comes to e-commerce.
I think, speaking with many e-commerce startup founders, people that are not in the e-commerce don't understand the importance of delivery. And by itself alone, I've realized that it's a war. Like all e-commerce founders, they have so much attention, all right, just on the delivery part. And Hussein, thank you so much for joining all these insights and knowledge today. For those who have further questions, Hussein can be found inside the community. Feel free to speak to him. We will be, reposting this talk as well on all our social media platforms and inside the community. And stay tuned, everyone, for our next talks. Hussein, again, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for hosting me.
We'll reconnect as well inside the community.